Honestly, so much Pokemon Pokopia news just dropped, from screenshots and UI, the Pokédex, something crazy about the servers you're definitely not going to want to miss. There's a lot to get through. Hey YouTube, welcome back to a brand new Pokemon Pokopia video. Today we are breaking down all of the stuff that has surfaced online over the last day or so about Pokemon Pokopia, and there's a lot of cool things you should know. But first, if you enjoy content like this, be sure to leave a like, it really helps out. Subscribe if you're new, and let's jump in. Now, starting with the biggest news, an interview with Game Freak through the Famitsu magazine and the Famitsu website has revealed some huge news about the multiplayer aspect of Pokemon Pokopia. Now, I'm going to jump straight in. Of course, we know multiplayer exists. We saw it in the first trailer, I think. And basically, there's this whole new thing on top of the existing multiplayer, and that is cloud servers. Just think Minecraft. In short, not only do you have your own island for the story mode that you can build as you please on your own Switch too, but you can have a second blank server, or a blank canvas if you will, a blank island for friends to visit. This is a server-based island that will be based off your Switch, so your story island will be local to your Switch, you can play offline, and you'll have a second a second blank island that's hosted on Game Freak or Nintendo servers that your friends can visit and help you build. Think Slumber Islands from Animal Crossing New Horizons Nintendo Switch 2 edition, but more like Minecraft. Because this huge detail, which I think is surprising everyone, the host of the server, so the owner of the cloud-based blank island that you will build with your friends, doesn't even need to be online for your friends to visit it. It's basically always online. The developers themselves and Game Freak are calling this a cloud island. So you're going to have your story island, which is your Switch island, and a cloud island, which is your second island or area, whatever, hosted on servers that anyone can visit at any time, and you don't even have to be there. This is pretty cool. It also means, by the way, that people will come and go, presumably your friends, you'll have to invite them somehow, but people can come and go to your cloud island with your permission at any point without the crazy loading screens that we see in other games, much like Animal Crossing, for example. It's pretty crazy. You want to invite 4 friends over, but you have massive loading screens and things. That's not going to be the case with this cloud island on Pokemon Pokopia, which is really cool, and that means you can design with your friends and build out an island and you don't even have to be there. Like, that is huge news for the multiplayer aspect of Pokopia, and I don't think many people were expecting that, so that's really good news. Now, another little detail about this, I believe, is that 4 friends at any one time can visit this cloud island, so 4 friends at any one time, but you can invite an unlimited amount, so it doesn't have to be the same 4 friends, which again is pretty crazy. So technically, from my understanding anyway, you could have 8 people designing this one island, as long as you're taking it in turns with 4 people on and off, and of course the host doesn't need to be there. So that is pretty big news, in all honesty, just about the multiplayer aspect. Now, in other news, just quickly, we've got a whole bunch of screenshots to kind of go through. Honestly, there's so much Pokemon Pokopia footage out there now, it's almost too much of a big task to get it all into one video. We're like 2 weeks away now, so I'm going to pick the best screenshots to kind of showcase some of the new features and mechanics that have surfaced that we can get excited about if you haven't seen the footage or you didn't get to go and play the demo, for example. Starting with this one, which is actually a photo, I believe, from the event itself where people were playing. You actually get to see kind of the on-screen UI, which is of course a very classic looking Pokédex design with some icons there which demonstrate different features of the game. You've got the Pokeball, which is of course the actual Pokédex. There's a grass icon, which is presumably your abilities, and there's like a treasure chest, which will be the items, things like that. There's the camera for the camera mode. We've got settings, house, and things like that. And also you have a mini-map on screen, which is kind of the area you're in that you're currently terraforming or designing, and that alone is just really, really cool. This one here is the Weathered Wasteland, so it looks to be some kind of pre-built area, but presumably it will live update as and when you're terraforming anyway. So I don't think the mini-map is on screen the entire time, so you probably have to bring it up on screen. But one thing to note from this is it kind of does show you that there is a Pokemon in your vicinity. So I don't know if you can necessarily always see them walking around, but in this instance, it looks like there's a Scyther on the minimap, and in the screenshot, you can just see a Scyther over the way of the cliffs there behind the tree. So if you don't spot it in real time in your game because there's, I don't know, it's very busy, got items everywhere, you should still be able to see them on the minimap. So that's just really cool. I wanted to share that screenshot first because it's quite a big deal. I haven't personally seen the Pokedex in any of the other official screenshots or any other footage I've seen online. Moving on to some other screenshots now, there's almost just too many to go through. We've got one here with like a whole bunch of lampposts. Just gives you an idea of what a busy town could look like once it's thriving, you've started designing. We've got a bit of the UI there with the grass. I think that's one of like Bulbasaur's moves, and that's just whichever ability you've got set at the moment is the one that appears on the UI, and just press ZR to use it, of course. So that's kind of a good one to showcase a clean looking default UI screen. There's this one here that actually has an ability that you can't use. Now we don't know at this moment in time if that is because you've got friends over, because as you can see this is a multiplayer game, so there's a bunch of people sitting around a table. It could be because you're sat down, you can't use the ability. It could be that you've got friends over, or it could be that maybe it's a water move and you can't use that in a specific area or something like that. So details like that we don't know, but it is interesting to see that certain abilities are blocked under certain conditions. Moving on, we've got an example of the photo mode here. We've seen a few of these now. A nice little pour me asleep on the bench there. And this is the UI of the photo mode. And as you can see, there's different kind of Pokemon on the left-hand side there that you can probably get them to look at you or do certain actions or just make them do certain poses in the photo mode. And then at the bottom there, we've got the Y button changes the frame of the photo. We've got the camera zooming in and out, and it looks like you can have kind of 1 of 80 at any given time. I don't know, maybe that's some kind of storage limit, or maybe you can only use a certain amount in a certain photo album, something like that. Again, we've got the typical zooms and things, so nothing too crazy here. Every game seems to have a photo mode these days. Again, there's way too many screenshots to kind of go over because this video would be like 2 hours long. So I'm just picking the best ones, but here we have even more of the UI that we've very briefly seen in one of the trailers of the character customization. We've got the ditto faces, which is really cool, and the skin tones. We've got the outfits here, and you can even see along the top there just how many kind of sections of customization there is, like trousers, hat, accessories, shoes, hairstyles, things like that. This one here is the hairstyle one, so there's a few default ones. I'm sure we'll unlock more as time goes on as well. And we've got, I think this is hair dye maybe, or hair color, clothes color, things like that. So there's lots to go through. I just wanted to showcase this because we haven't really been able to look at the UI in great detail really at all. The ones where we have seen has been quite blurry and small, so it's really good to see some new fresh UI designs here. Since we're talking about UI, here is another one looking at kind of a habitat, I think. So this whole thing, this takes up the whole screen of a big UI here, probably accessed from the Pokedex. It's looking at a certain habitat, I believe. We've got number 1 there, so Bulbasaur, I'm assuming. And I think this is a guide on how to encounter certain Pokemon and maybe something to do with their abilities. So again, if you've played the demo of this, you probably know more than me. But based on what we've seen online, we kind of have to piece things together. But this is definitely about the habitat, and we've got kind of 6 spaces around it, so probably to do with what Pokemon you can find here or what Pokemon can do something in this area, something like that. Again, we see the same here with a comfy bed and a Clefairy doll, of course, and this is basically saying you can build a comfy bed and you can encounter certain Pokemon, I believe. And this example probably shows it better because we have kind of a berry tree with the surrounding grass, and then what it looks like in the actual game. And of course we have the tree with the grass. So this is definitely going to help you try and find those Pokemon that aren't necessarily just walking around, but can be found in certain habitats. That's basically the gist of it. And since we're talking about it, we'll just cover this one as well. This is a very clear example here. We've got a bench and a punching bag, and presumably you put the items down, this will attract a Hitmonchan. And it looks to be the only Pokemon that can be encountered using the punching bag, which is kind of suitable, to be honest. So this gives you an idea. You kind of build a habitat, gives you a clue or a guide on what you can encounter. There's a Hitmonchan. It's as easy as that. Next up looks to be a screenshot of the actual Pokemon in the Pokedex and probably the habitat where you found them. There's a few of these, so it gives you kind of the Pokedex entry, the name, the habitat, the conditions of encountering them, the different weathers and times of day and things like that, and a silhouette of the Pokemon. And there's just so many screenshots, I don't know what to show next, but here is one of the crafting bench, and basically opens up a UI of some of the things you can craft. So this is a crafting UI, basically. You can go through different, whether you've got the furniture, weather, trees, things like that, and what you can craft at the moment, what you need to craft them, and whether or not you want to actually craft them. We've got 2 screenshots here that I'm just including because they're super cute, and that is a Lapras swimming, of course, across the ocean to another part of the island with lots of buildings and stuff, and we've got a Dragonite flying in Ditto form, of course. Just got including these because they're just super cute, and it shows the Pokemon you're kind of mimicking there in the UI and using their ability to, you know, surf or fly. Now, all these screenshots are thanks to Famitsu, who obviously got a really good in-depth look at the game, spent a lot of time with it, and picked these screenshots to kind of showcase everything we know about the game. And here is one of the Poké Center close-up built for a certain Pokemon. And I'm just showing this because it looks like there will be a lot of kind of pre-built buildings as well that we can build alongside the ones we build with just blocks and things. And inside each one, of course, we get to decorate. So here we get a look at a whole bunch of Pokemon inside this. I don't know if this is the Pokemon Center or a different building. We've got things on the walls, we've got little mobiles and rugs and plants and stuff. So really cool to see that. We're going to be decorating this huge island and also everything inside. And probably one of the last ones we'll have a look at today, we've actually got our pockets, which is pretty much a given in any life sim game or anything where you carry items, any inventory you need. Here we have the pockets of the player with all the items and crafting materials they've got that you can then place in the real world. It opens up, you can see there's 4 pages at least. There's like 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30 times 4, so 120 items in the pocket, in the Ditto pocket that looks like a big Ditto, which is really cool. So good to know. At the very least, at some point we'll have the capacity to carry around 120 items and pull them out as and when we need to decorate or place objects and things like that. And here we have an Espeon answering the door, it seems, but really in the house already, but actually requesting a specific item. It looks to be that the Espeon wants a comfy bed, the one we saw earlier with the Clefairy doll. So it will kind of task you to go and get an item for it inside its house. So it's saying, I want this bed, please go and craft it, bring it back, place it in my house, and everything will be happy. And we'll just end on this final one here, which looks to be some kind of dance karaoke stage that has been built. This is just going to be some fun thing they built on their island. But again, it showcased quite a classic path, lampposts, stairs, and a feature fountain, and then something they've built, probably at the request of a Pokemon, or maybe they just fancy doing it, some kind of stage there. So, and you can just see also in this screenshot alone just how vast this island is going to be. You can travel to different regions, different areas, different territories, get different materials, and mine and craft and build, and this is going to be huge. And then you take that and you double it with an online server that we spoke about earlier. This game is going to be absolutely massive. So there we go. I just wanted to go through a few things that have kind of surfaced in the last 24 hours or so. Most notably the news about the multiplayer servers not being restricted to having the host online and kind of having 2 islands, and also a whole bunch of screenshots going through like the habitats of Pokemon, the Pokedex, the UI, the pockets, the crafting menus, and just interactions with Pokemon, requesting items and things like that. So I hope you enjoyed this little rundown. They are some of the best screenshots we've seen so far. There's plenty more out there. If there's something we haven't covered that you'd like me to talk about, let me know in the comments. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe.